Hey everybody, welcome back to the Monday SITREP. My name is CB Harris. Now, this is a show where we talk about things that are happening in the world, and we also have a segment for it's the life or death files, and that's where people have used their firearms to protect themselves, loved ones, other people. And we have another section called What's New, and that's where we talk about guns, gear, new things that are hitting the market. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Veterans Administration, okay? They have been plagued with some problems. Particularly, a couple of years ago, they had a lot of problems. Some veterans died while waiting to get seen for problems. You know, they were on a waiting list that was ridiculously long, and so long that they actually died while waiting to finally get seen. Now, they weren't sitting in a waiting room somewhere. They were just sitting at home waiting for their appointment that was months and months or a year out. Now, there were supposed to be some changes made. There was the VA Accountability Act of 2014, supposed to fix some of the problems. And one of the things that was included in that act was to allow fast-track firing. So it was to allow the Veterans Administration to fire people quicker. If they had a good reason, a good cause to fire somebody, they didn't have to wait around. I don't know if you guys understand how the government employee system works, but it's difficult to fire somebody. It really is, and it really encourages, I guess you could say, laziness. It really does, and subpar performance. I hate to say that. I've spent 23 years in the military, and the military, you can get fired pretty easy, but the civilian side of things in the U.S. government, it's really hard to fire someone. So this was to allow them to do it. And Secretary Bob McDonald, he's the Secretary of the Veterans Administration, he said, you know what, we don't want to do that. And I'm just kind of curious, I can't figure out why you wouldn't want to have the ability to cut the dead weight when it's necessary. For instance, there was a person in Puerto Rico. They are highly suspected of committing armed robbery. They work for the Veterans Administration, and the VA, under the new rules, would be able to fire him. However, old rules and the way that they want to keep it is they wouldn't be able to. They have to go through a very, very lengthy process. Even if he were convicted, it would still take a process to fire him. I don't agree with this at all. They need to have that ability. I get it that, you don't want your employees walking around on eggshells, but at the same time, I think it would encourage them to, actually perform up to what the standard should be. So I kind of disagree with Secretary McDonald in this case. Now, yes, this is the same secretary who said that, Disneyland doesn't keep track of waiting times and lines. Well, actually, Bob, they do. I don't even know why he would say something like that. He's trying to say that, why do we need to keep track of how long people are waiting for care? But this is medical care. This is life or death here. And I guess it just seems to me like things aren't really changing as much as they are staying the same. Now, there was a large firing a couple of years ago when they had the big scandal. Okay, most of it took place in Phoenix, at the Phoenix Medical Center, and Director Sharon Hellman, she was the director of the Phoenix Veterans Administration Medical Center there, and she was directly involved in manipulating the numbers, okay, making wait times look shorter on paper when they actually were longer, and she was fired. She fought that, and the only reason why she is still fired is because she also essentially took bribes. There was a vendor who wanted to set up something in the VA center there, whether it's like a restaurant or maybe a flower shop or something. I don't even know what it was, but she had accepted $50,000 worth of gifts from this vendor. That's a definite no-no right there. So that is why she is still fired. Not the numbers manipulation or any of that. It's the bribery type of stuff that took place. So I am glad that she's still not working there, but at the same time, it needs to be fixed. Now, I will give the new secretary one thing, okay? Secretary McDonald has said that, he wants to change the executives, okay? So the directors and the executive level, he doesn't want them to be SESs. Okay, so if you don't know what that means, the government employees, they have the general schedule, GS. So if you've heard of a GS civilian, that's what it's talking about. And they have the ES, which is the executive schedule. And these are the high-paid, these are top-level managers. And he wants to change that. He wants to not hire them as an SES, but rather at the same level that doctors are hired. So they would get similar pay to they're getting now, but they would be easier to fire. So I can agree with that, I think. But at the same time, that only really works for those top-level managers. What about, the guy working at the desk who isn't doing his job also? Those people, there needs to be a way to fire those people as well. So anyway, that's just the way I look at it. Next on the Life or Death files, a man, witness to a crime, actually ends up holding the perpetrator until the police can show up. All right, guys, so this story takes place in, this is Larimer County, Colorado, not too far away from me, actually. The victim, in this case, she was traveling with the perpetrator, and they got into an argument of some sort. They pulled over, she got out, she was going to call the 911, and he stabbed her. The other person, the perpetrator, actually stabbed her a couple of times, including in the throat, and a witness happened to be passing by or saw it happening and stopped, intervened, and held the perpetrator at gunpoint until police could arrive. What would have happened if he wouldn't have been there? Would this person have kept going until she was dead? I kind of have a suspicion that that's exactly what would have happened. So in my mind, this guy with a gun, definitely a hero, saved a woman's life. And you've got anti-gun people who say that this doesn't happen. It does happen. It absolutely does, where a good guy with a gun can prevent a crime as well as stop crimes in action and prevent, in this case, a young woman from getting murdered. So next on What's New, it's we're going to talk about something that's not necessarily gun related, but it is definitely gear related. We're gonna get your feet covered. All right, so we're going to talk about is the Reebok Strike Point. Okay, the Reebok Strike Point, these are obviously boots. These are tactical boots made by Reebok. Reebok has a couple of other military style boots that they've made in the past. This is their latest, I think, and they're pretty nice. They have an 8-inch as well as a 6-inch. If you are in the Army or reserve in the Army or something like that, the 8-inch meets Army regulations and standards, so you can absolutely wear that in uniform. These are suede and Cordura nylon, so they are fairly lightweight. They are a soft toe, so if you need a safety toe of some sort, these are not going to keep you covered. Okay, so you're going to need something else. But they have something unique. They actually have, it's called a U-form technology, and what it is it allows you to heat them up in the oven. You put them on your feet, and they will mold to your feet, reducing the break-in time significantly, they say. So I'm pretty excited about something like this. I think that for me, now in the civilian world, I think the 6-inch might be a better choice for me. But the MSRP for the 8-inch is $148. I don't have an MSRP for the 6-inch. However, you can find the 6-inch online at other places outside of Reebok for $110 and $120 for the 8-inch if you look hard enough online. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, it's always appreciated when you like and share the videos. And if you are not a subscriber and you want to become one, find that subscribe button down below and give it a big old click. And then come back next Monday for another Monday SITREP, as well as other various videos throughout the week. Remember that your mind, your brain, that is your most important tool, and it is vitally important that you are armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe.